Well, good evening. The Who's today in Sydney were out at the farm. It was Warwick Stakes Day, and also the up and coming stakes and the show County Quality, the last race. Just the usual suspects, people who did a few members of the public who did arrive. Of course, they don't take part in, I don't know where they go, but they're not in the betting ring, put it that way. Anyway, today the track was good. The rail was in the normal position. There was a light southwesterly blowing, which had no effect. It eased to be no breeze at all by the time of the last race. And the track, well, was the inside section of the track this new pad of grass that hadn't been raced on for a while. Was it better or was it worse? We had, of course, two leaders win. One close to the fence, that was Thump, ridden by the J Pumper Cassidy, with 3 kilos off. You had to make 3 kilos off J Cassidy aboard. And then, of course, War led all the way in a walking race, but terrific Tommy Berry was 3 off the fence and 4 off, turning for home, finished in the middle of the track. He was presented the race. And, of course, we saw in the second last, Windswept, the favourite had barrier 1, and for that reason I thought its chances would be made harder by the alley. And of course he was on the fence behind the leader all the way to the turn, Fort Sumter. Fort Sumter only got finished up only being beaten about 1.7, and of course Windswept had got around its heels. He did finish good 3 off the fence by the time they got to the winning post, but he was on the fence turning for home, tight on the fence, and after they'd straightened. So if the going, I think the going was a little bit inferior in right close to the fence. So those runners, well, especially Windswept and Thump, I think you should give those an extra tick. The first race came along, and we saw there was on the screen for the robots. There were robots there today. Of course, they're at every meeting in the city. There was 104 on the screen, but in the marketplace 4 less, 100. And this race was won by Lucripidus, and being tracked wide early in the race, finish up being maybe the winning reason for this runner getting home, because Nash couldn't sit out there where he was, so he went forward. Leading in this race was Strike Me Lucky, and of course Travolta, I Own the Lead, was on its outside, but Travolta jumped awkwardly and couldn't find the lead like everybody thought, and that was going to make its going to make its chances a bit harder. But fancy Tommy Terrific when Nash moved up, letting him go around and sitting outside the lead without making Nash work a little bit. Well, of course, Tommy Terrific is the understudy. Nash has got plenty on Tommy Terrific, and if it was the other way around, of course, and Nash would have been on Travolta, he wouldn't have let Tommy Terrific come around him if he were on Lucripidus and sit outside the lead, and he would have said, no, I'm going with you and you can sit outside me. He may have gone to the lead on Travolta around Strike Me Lucky, but he wouldn't have handed up as easy, and it turned out to be a winning move, because when Lucripidus got outside the lead, it's very one-paced, and under Nash's vigorous riding, of course, he kept it going all the way down the straight, and he beat Travolta by 0.8 of a length, with Angelus, who got pushed a bit wide on the turn, running third, but was safely held, and Sacred Fly having more or less every chance it missed the wet track. It ran fourth. It wasn't much good. $5 was given about the winner. You wouldn't see that on the Flux, and started 4.80 on the fence. $3 was given about Travolta, and if you gave $5 4.80, you could easily lose on the race. There was no per there at all. Race 2, they said there was 102.9 on the screen, 95 in the marketplace. So we got about 7 less than what you actually saw on the screen. And the fluctuations on the winner were fairly strange. Everything fell into place for Acapella, who we saw should have won very easily last start at Warwick Farm. We put it up at $3.50 chance, got out to $4.60, and it was into $3.80 at one stage. You couldn't get the 3-to-1. It was 11-4, but it got back out to start $4.80, if not $5 towards the end of betting. And as I say, things fell into place for it. The Flux in this race were Charing Cross, $6 out to 7, back into $5.50, back to 6. So Kinthos Imprints was always 19. Gangster's Choice, they took 11 at one stage, but it started that price. Babiro, he had to make a bit of use of Babiro to get to the lead, the pumper. And when he did get to the lead, he crossed and found the fence, not the place to be. It opened up the $3.50 equal favourite. It got out to $4.20, which you wouldn't see. Came back in to start only about $3.70. Acapella, I told you the Flux. Planet Purple was 20 out to 40. Canny Ballad was 460 out to 550, back into 480, and it was 16 out to 20, back into 16 to High Tech. And as I say, things fell into place after Babiro had was made a bit of use of by the pumper to get to the lead. Acapella was always back in second last position and got a good bit of pace after Babiro had found the lead, because when he crossed Charing Cross and also Zakynthos Imprints, they weren't dawdling in front. So there was a good solid pace all the way. And as I say, given the perfect run a cappella by brilliant Brendan Abdullah, it came down the outside and held Canny Ballad to a half a length on the line. And Canny Ballad more or less had its chance as well, but the winner got a lovely run. Charing Cross was on the fence, got off heels, and I suppose, was the fence really chopped up by that time? Maybe it wasn't, or maybe it was, but it seemed to have every chance. In race 3, they said there was 106.7 on the screen, 103 in the marketplace, and the stablemates crossed the line together here. The Waller pair, Hidden Kisses, beat the favourite Royal Descent by 0.4 of a length, and no looking back, it had barrier 1, and as expected, it led on the fence. I own the lead, and I suppose the only excuse you can make for it was the fence no good. It finished up running 6, beaten 2.7 lengths, but it seemed to be a fairly ordinary run. It led with Pinocchio on its outside, 3 wide Queen's Elect, and on the back of Queen's Elect in the 3 wide trail was Hidden Kisses, and on Hidden Kisses' back was Royal Descent, the favourite. Look, we all know it was resuming today, Royal Descent, but I thought it was very disappointing when they turned for home. Hidden Kisses had got around the 3 wide line of Queen's Elect, and then easing off its heels was the favourite. Just wait till I have a drink of this vodka and orange peel. Excuse me. It's that grouse blue label Russian stuff. Oh, that Putin sends it over to me. But he got a hand over, of course. The Royal Descent, as I say, well, look, it might have been underdone today, but it, I thought when it got off the heels of the stablemate Hidden Kisses, who was a very good win last start and was very fit, of course, it held the stablemate all the way down to the line. And as I say, I suppose if you're looking for excuses for no looking back, maybe the fence wasn't the place to be. Race 4, 100.5 to make you laugh in this race. The Silver Shadow, and that was on the screen for the robots, but in the marketplace about 96.5, about 4 less for the captains in the marketplace. Now, this was the race that I was saying that it stayed close to the fence, and it was off the fence when they got to the post, but when they were turning for home and down the side, it was near the fence, and that was Thump. When they jumped, I owned the lead. The Avery Sweet Idea was ridden very hard to try and get to the lead, but couldn't cross. The Pumper was just sitting there, didn't have to show much vigour to hold out Sweet Idea, who we all know bled in this race. So its effort was most probably better than it looked with the strain that was put on its blood vessels. Anyway, as I say, the Pumper, he kept on kicking up on the inside. The favourite was on its outside. When they turned for home, there were runners looming up out wide. Kill Careless, who was coming off their back, and the also number 3, the runner from Snowden runner from Melbourne, Montsegur, who was very well backed. Tell you the flux in a minute. Well, anyway, of course, the Pumper, with that 3 kilo allowance, it was able to hold Sweet Idea all the way down the straight to beat her by the nose, and having every chance was Montsegur. It was 1.9 lengths away in 3rd place. The flux were $2.30 out to $2.80, back into $2.70, back to $2.80, Sweet Idea. Twilight Royale, $4.60 out to $7, back into $6. Montsegur, $3.50 out to $4.20 into $3.80. It was a late scratching before the betting opened, a grey filly. It slipped over in the tie-up stalls. Snitzer's Jewel, who was eased down, beaten 13 lengths, was $16 into 12. Thump, the winner, $9 out to 11, back into 9, very well back. 9 hard to get, might have even started a 15 to 2 chance, $8.50. Kill Careless, 17 out to 26, and Farewell, 21 out to 26. And the winner was backed. Was a bit hard. I found it hard to lay the favourite, and you could easily run into the winner in that race if you were bookieing. Race 5, they said there was 103 on the screen, 97% only in the marketplace, and War won this race. I own the lead. Gay had a couple in this race. Pit Crew, who they Nash aboard, Nippy Nash, with his understudy aboard the winner, Tommy Terrific. Nash said that he intended to lead on Pit Crew, but as the gates opened, it reared slightly and he missed the kick by 1 length. And that was the end of Pit Crew. Plus, he had to come up along the fence, which wasn't, I don't think, maybe the place to be. Whereas Pit Crew, excuse me, wait till I have another sip of this beautiful vodka and orange. That Blue Label stuff, oh my God. War, as I say, it led. And Tommy Terrific here, I can't understand, we'll get to the last race, but this is race 5. I think he jerried that the 18 pence was no good here. And on War, he didn't want to have any part of the fence. He stayed out nice and wide. He was a good 4 horses off the fence leading with a Diamond Oasis on his outside, and who was extremely well backed. I'll tell you the flux in a minute. And War, as I say, was well off the fence. And when they turned for home, he was able to drop Diamond Oasis fairly quickly and get a good break. And it was up to Drago, who was sitting back in third last position. But with no pace in this race, it was going to be hard for the back markers because, as I say, being in the middle of the track and no pace, it suited the winner tremendously. And when they turned for home, repeating myself, he dropped Diamond Oasis, got clear, and went to the line and beat Drago by 0.8 of a length, with having every chance, I suppose, was Villanova from barrier 1. He was trailing the winner off the fence as well, and Pit Crew coming up closest to the fence, maybe not the place to be. It ran third, Villanova, but it was beaten easily, 2.8 lengths. The winner got an easy time, but it looks like this horse might have found its right form, because it improved out of sight from his last run at Canterbury. Now in this race, as I say, there was only 97. For Rosa, it went from, it didn't have a price, $6 or $7, give it $7, a 6 to 1 chance out to 10 to 1, 11. So it was 7 out to 11. Villanova, we put it up a $3.30 chance, a 9 to 4 chance. We put it up favourite, and it got out to $4.20 at the end of betting. Drago was $5.50 out to $7.50 back into $7, hard to get, $6.50 at the death. Pit Crew, the Muggins here, I gave $5 about Pit Crew. It started $3.80. Diamond Oasis well back, $5.50 out to $6, back into $4.60. Downtown Charlie was 12 out to 16, back in, well, it started $15. War, 14 out to 16, back into 15. And Eastern Dragon was 50 out to 71. We know what happened. Race 6, 105.5 on the screen, and a few less in the marketplace, about 102. And this was a good result for the captains, although the winner was, and we're talking about Veyron, the runner from New Zealand. It was 21 out to 26, back into 21. And of course, the favourite here, Rain Affair, as we all knew, that would go straight to the lead, perfectly drawn out in barrier 13 for Nash to Velodrome. He led, obviously, and chasing him all the way was the very, very well-backed second favourite, Streamer, and G Boss, glorious Glenn Boss. He never let the favourite out of his sights. Well, when I say never let him out of his sights, at one stage, Rain Affair was a good 3.5 to 4 lengths in front of him. By the time they got to at that stage, when he was 3.5 to 4 lengths behind Rain Affair, it was 5 lengths to the eventual winner chasing the pair, and that was Veyron from barrier 2. And of course, they were well off the fence all of the way. They turned for home. He was full bore on Rain Affair, and it was full bore chasing him, Streamer, and it was full bore chasing the pair, the winner. But after they'd flattened out, Boss had the favourite in his sights. He said, well, I've got you. But then when he said that, Christian Reith aboard the winner Veyron said, well, wait there, there's a good chance I'm going to grab you. And that's exactly what happened. The both of them had got past the favourite, and right on the line, Veyron, being on the outside of Streamer, beat him by a nose, and the favourite held on to third, beaten 1.6 lengths. The flux, well, I've already told you, well, the flux on the 3 picks, the winner and the 2 picks, that we put it up $1.70 chance rain affair. It was into $1.65. The $1.70 laid on at one stage. You could get whatever you wanted out of it at $1.70. It was into $1.65, and then it got back, believe it or not, on the rails to $1.90 with one of our bigger captains, and with $1.90 with a few minutes to go, and it did still start and started at $1.80. So it was 11-8 on, it was 10-9 on, back to 5-4 on, and streamer, as I said, was $5.50 out to $6 into $4.60 streamer, extremely well backed, and the winner, $26 given, only started the 21. All of the others, there was a little tiny bit of section for beaten up, and also for the top weight metal vendor 30 into 21. Of course, it's very easy now. We had Rain Affair. It's easy after the ball, but before the race, I had it marked an 11-8 chance. Originally had a 13-8, marked 11-8, and 3-1 streamer. But I'm embarrassed to say I did mark the winner 33-1 with a question mark. And but the favourite, of course, well, it seemed under the odds to me. We did see its win last start at Warwick, of course, when it won as it liked. But you've got to see the forest through the trees, or whatever they say. It was an optical illusion, of course, that day when ridden by Nash. It was everything just fell into place. Again, that day at Warwick, the fence was no good, and Nash just came down the side, of course, staying 5 off the fence all the way, with not real credential runners chasing him. Give a dog a bone. Paddywhack, give a dog a bone. Since it ran second that day, it went around at Hawkesbury on this Thursday just gone, sat outside the lead and went fairly ordinary. Not that that was a pointer, but it had some bearing on Rain Affair's chances today. But it seems short odds to me, and unfortunately Rain Affair mightn't be as good as everybody thinks. We got to race 7. There was 106.5 on the screen, and in the marketplace a good 5 less, about 101. And here, as I was saying before, we saw Windswept, the 5-2 favourite, get the cash after plenty of $4 was bet, mile of $4. It did have barrier 1. It led on the fence from barrier 2, Fort Sumter, and it lobbed straight in behind it, Windswept. And when they turned for home, it was able to get around its heels and just hold off Reunite, who sat back in about 6th position, getting a perfect run and easing off heels, turning for home in the middle of the track, just failing to catch Windswept, getting beaten 0.2 of a length, and sitting just in behind the pace, 1 off the fence, or outside the winner actually, was River of Salvation, and it was only beaten 0.4 of a length. So there was very little between them when they hit the line. It made up ground resuming today, impeachable, but it wasn't the best section. And the winner, even though it's just 1, as I say, it wasn't in the right part of the track, so you could give it an extra little bit of a tick, but I'm not too sure about this form. The flux in this race were Norman's Betty Boy 26 out to 31, Casual Choice 330 out to 420, Ramsey's Curse 60 out to 70, River of Salvation 15 out to 19, back into 18, same thing. Reunite, I bet $6, $5.50 out to $6, started only around about the $4.80 mark. River Reunite, very well backed, and then it was 30 out to 40, Tom's Rocket. Fort Sumter, they only returned. The best luck about Fort Sumter was $12. Well, there was a mile of $15, so I don't know what happened there. Windswept, $3.50 out to $4, back into about 3 60 maybe at the finish, hard to get. Impeachable 7 into 550, and Gina Mocki 30 out to 40, Mucci 30 out to 40 back into 30. We came to the last race, and just hang on a second. I'll be blind by the. I don't know how I'm going to do the form for Goston. I'm in a coma now. Now race I'll start slurring my speech in a minute. In race 8, of course, we saw the little compact Rebel Dane, the Avery, get the cash here, perfectly ridden by glorious Glenn Boss. And doesn't he do a lovely salute when they hit the post? He stood high in the irons. Anyway, this race, I couldn't understand Tommy, understudy terrific Tommy Berry on Ichikawa. He's got to ask Nash for a few tips on how the velodrome. Well, Ichikawa, we all had it leading. There were 14 runners. He drew barrier 13 in a field of 14, and it was the perfect the way the race was. He did it on War. Why didn't he do it here? I couldn't understand. I think if Nippy Nash would have been aboard Ichikara, who was extremely well backed, he would have velodromed here, and after jumping out leading, I think he would have said, well, I'm staying out here a good 6 or off the fence, I'd say, to the turn, and letting, saying to, dictating and saying to the other riders more or less, well, you're going to have to, a lot of you can come inside me, and anyone who wants to come around me is going to have to come a lot wider than they want to, because I'm staying here in the middle of the track. But on Ichikara, he didn't do that. He crossed and led, as I say, we all thought would happen, and he went straight to the fence with Malavio, who had the outside alley following him across and sitting on his outside. Tied up behind them was Title on the fence, and outside it Night Exemplar. Then we had Alma's Fury, who wasn't fully tested in the straight, and then on the fence, Monton from barrier 1, and then looking at him was the 4-year-old Rebel Dane, and outside of it, trap wide, was Tagus. And when they turned for home, everything just fell into place. Glorious Glennie, he just eased off heels, and the little Rebel Dane has got a great turn of foot, and it accelerated and went away, and it beat Title by 1.3 lengths, and coming from 4th last position, very wideish on the turn, making up a lot of ground, was Norzita, ridden by horseman Huey Bowman, into 3rd hole, beaten 1.4 lengths. Well, we'll look whether we saw a different result or not. If Ichikawa doesn't cross to the fence, we will never know, if you never go. And there was only, when they hit the line, 5.1 lengths between them. I suppose the favourite, I'm trying to look for excuses because the bookie in me, but it's a good little netty. I did hear the trainer say this morning that it put on 40 kilos since this last preparation. The horse watchers who I talked to, they said it is still very fine. So there mustn't be a lot of Rebel Dane. And that was about all the fluctuations. The ones that are, well, I'll give you them very quickly. Norzita went from $5, $6 I should say, didn't have a price, out to $8.50. Alma's Fury was 26 out to 31. Sizzling, $11 into $10, back to 11, back into 10. Beltone 30 out to 60. River de Largo was 15 into 12, back to 15, but back into 14. Monton 21 out to 26, back to 20. Rebel Dane, the winner, 260 out to 280. I was 260 when they jumped and you could get it on the fence. Taggers, 100 out to 200. Title, 30 out to 40. Ichikawa, very well backed, $6 out to 7. Into start, $5, 4 to 1, bar it. And then we had 30 out to 50, Malavio, back into 30. Willie Jimmy, 100 out to 200. Someday, 12 out to 15, back into around about 11 to 1 chance, hard to get, and 40 out to 70, Night Exemplar. And that was about the meeting. Now, what was I going to say? Oh, yes. Well, it's about time this filthy TAB who has stolen all of the, over the years, stolen all of the captain's customers who used to come to the track, and now they're betting in these filthy TAB agencies, and oh, they're not really, but now of course, well, the TAB, as we know, they're a bookie too, but they keep on giving the punters, making them take under the odds with their fixed odds all the time. Well, they're putting up the market now. Well, I don't know how much they get on for, but they do. They apparently, you only hear, of course, the ones that tighten up that win. You never hear of the ones that they lay that get out in the market, people that fall into them. But anyway, that's their business. But it's about time. Look, all of you TAB punters, we've got to take out a petition, and we've got to say that the TAB has got to start betting best flucked. The tab's got to start betting you customers best fluck. Now write them a letter and say, now all the other captains in Australia, you're a bookie too now, you filthy jolly green giant. Now why aren't you offering the service like all of the other captains around Australia do? That's best fluck. And we want to keep on betting with you. You're going to have to offer us that service like all of the other captains too. Now, seeing now that you're a bookie too, the jolly green giant. So all you tab punters, write them in a letter and say, and write one to the Premier and write one to the Queen, write it to anyone and just say, we want the tab to start betting best fluck like all of the other bookies do. Good evening.